Can I have an egg? 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 Oh, egg. Those particles are either haste 2 or are there because I haven't installed a shower in this house yet. My storage system is a mess. Even the iron golem thinks so. I mean, just look at it. There's a bunch of chests here. There's a bunch of chests in the kitchen. Through the window there, there's a bunch of chests outside. To the other window, you can even see just a random chest sitting on the square. I mean, they're all over the place. And there's even more. Just inside the chests here, I've had so many different items that I just ran out of space, and at one point I ran out of wood, so I've just been using shulker boxes here with, well, sort of semi-organized stuff in there, but I don't know, I have plant stuff in here, mob drops in here, whatever. This is just chests of random junk items. And then inside my ender chests, there are just more shulker boxes with items that I've been using throughout the project. Some of them are like useful boxes. This is a redstone box full of beautiful goodies. That's nice. But then I have also this box of just random assorted pink and birch wood, crimson and birch wood items. And whenever I need something, I'm looking through it. It's time to address it. It's also time to sleep. Mentioned what I want to do with the storage system before, in the sense that I want it to look like a general store located on the village square. I think that fits the theme of what we're going for here, with buildings sort of representing their function quite well. I have a design of a building ready. I quite like it. I still have to refine it a little bit more, but that can go here. And I actually think I might want to have it cover this whole area. That's going to depend on the next step, and that is I actually want to try to include a multi-item sorting system in here, an automated sorting system. I've been looking at those. They are pretty complex, but I think I want to play with, well, I know for sure that I want to play with that, but I think I can get one that fits inside an area here. And basically how much room that takes depends on how big the storage building will become. And I think one of the things that I might do is, because I don't really like the huge single buildings, but I've been looking at some more pictures of alpine villagers, and I think what I can start doing here is have like a cluster of 3 or 4 similar buildings that are like distinct buildings from the outside, and then on the inside I'll just have all the room I want to set up my redstone contraptions. So without further ado, let's get into the time lapse of building that building, and then we'll start to include the sorting system in there. I am really happy with how this turned out. There's a ton more detailing to do, obviously. I've started doing it a little bit, but not nearly enough. But other than that, shape-wise, this is it, and I like it. It's big. Honestly, this is, and we'll get into that, this is as small as I could get it. It's big, but it's not so big that it overwhelms the shop, for example, or this house, which I'm really happy about. And in part, I think that has to do with the fact that it's 3 separate buildings. I mean, the style is the same, but there's differences in height and in shape and in direction. They feel sort of separate. So this is perhaps more, I don't know, a shop and or apartment complex, much more than just a single building. So we have this main building over here that contains the shop as well. We'll get to that, but with a roof direction in this way. There's a little bit of an alleyway with a connection between the next building, which I think if we go over here, we see has a different sort of roof shape, just slanted. And then on the way here, in the back, I see I have some walls to close still, but this building, there's like height differences to separate it from the other two as well, so they just feel separate. Really, really happy. The item sorting system I implemented is called the item categorizer, and it is a design by Maizuma Games. I'll link to his video in the description. I will get into the workings of it, of at least what I've learned of it later, but I'll just demonstrate the system now. So the idea is that you configure a bunch of chests. I'll show them later. They're somewhere in the back over there. You configure them to accept a number of items. So almost a double chest full of different items can be configured. And the items then go into this stack of chests. So I have a couple of items in here already. I need to get this moving on all the items that I have. But you see, for example, there's 2, one full stack and one small stack of spruce stairs. They don't get organized properly within this chest. It's just dumping them in there, but it is detecting that spruce stairs needs to go into this stack. And you basically have that. I haven't configured everything yet, and I'm not sure what I want to do exactly. And then at the end here is a sort of an unsorted category. So just put a junk piece of leather boots there. And over here, I don't think there's anything in this. You have a chest full of unsortable items, and this is your input chest. So it's a slow system that has everything to do with how I implemented it as well. And it is ridiculously small for how complex it is. I mean, this probably needs to be like 6 times as large for it to make sense. But I don't know. I wanted to go through with it. I discovered that fairly early in the design, but I just thought, whatever, it's awesome. I'm gonna try it and see how far I can get. And then if I don't have enough room, I'll just make another storage system or move it underground after all or something. So let me just dump it here. So the items get pulled out of this fairly quickly, and then they they'll get sorted into a system, and the items that I selected, a number will get sent into these chests. The bed should end up here in the unstackable chest, and the, I think it's smooth stone or something, will should end up in here. There's no smooth stone now. Let me just check. I dumped half a stack of rails in there, so we have extra that. And you see the birch logs, half a stack entering now. So basically you see that's that. It's done probably not even half of what I put in there. So we'll speed this up. I'll meet you afterwards. So we just finished sorting. I was looking back at the clip while that happened, so I didn't exactly know how much time it took. But it's a relatively slow system, not really meant to be waited on, more meant to dump this chest full of goodies and just go on with other tasks in the area, then check up on it. But the birch was in here. Apparently there was no birch in the system yet, or we'll encounter it at some point and see that it's stuck. But I don't think so. The rails, they all got dumped in there. The smooth stone is in here, and the bed made it to here, so that is nice. Now what I still have to do is do a lot of configuring, so going through this, seeing if there's categories that can be made, configuring the chests and feeding it back into the system. So that's what I'll be doing for sure. Before that, let's check out the redstone though. So I really like this contrast. You have these two doors, and there's a lot of cleaning up to do here, but this kind of looks like it's the door up to the apartments up top, I suppose. And here you have just the shop behind it, and there's a lot to improve in this shop to make it look nicer as well. But at least it's looking like a functional room, right? Not behind door number 2 though. Boom. Straight redstone. Welcome to the belly of the beast. This is the categorizer, and I'm loving it. I'm not going to change this even. I thought maybe have a room for villagers if there's room still remaining, but I'm just going to keep this as the access door like this. Yeah, this is the categorizer, and it's a design by Mazuma Games, and I spent quite some time going through his videos, his world download, and trying to understand all the components that go into the categorizer. And there was still some things I couldn't really figure out. So Mazuma Games, if you get to see this ever, kudos to you, man. I'm getting the hang of redstone, but I'm nowhere near on the level of designing a system like this. Not by a long shot. Because I couldn't figure all of the things out, I had to replace some components with my own design. I think I left some things out that maybe were optimizations that I could still add, but also there's a lot of own design work. So there's a minecart here that's taking the items that we put into the chest. It's over there. This probably can be sped up quite a bit. And it goes all the way through the system. And what I actually really like is there's 3 separate buildings, but there's also 3 main components of the redstone system, or the item sorting system. And each building has sort of their own function, which I think is really, really cool. It sort of grew that way, I suppose, as I was implementing the Atom categorizer in here. But yeah. So I've been geeking out over this for the past few days. What can I say, guys? I really like redstone. Darn. Miraculously, not a lot of stuff. But what an idiot. I'm a little bit in shock. Alright, let's get to fixing this. I can fix this. with that mishap out of the way, let's get to explaining. I hope I fixed it correctly, and I hope I lit it up correctly. I encountered a creeper before. I thought I lit it up well then as well, so I guess we'll just have to see. Such is the Minecraft life, though. I'm not gonna explain every component, the function of that, because I'll just refer you to my Zuma's video on the detailed explanation. Instead, what I do is sort of explain the principle, because it's really ingenious. I really impressed with it. Below these chests, let me actually show the chests first. This is your configuration chest. So you place one item of what you want to go into the stack at the front, into this chest. So I have a number of wood items that I have, and a number of sort of filler items there. And then what happens is we load items into the minecart, and it passes under here, and it picks up the item. Well, if it fits on the stack, obviously, and then goes up top and deposits it back into the chest. So after this loop, the chest state should be exactly the same. Only it has detected that something has moved, and that is what this is about. So this is just there are some items in here that move back and forth to indicate this is now the stack that is active, and the signal, this is just transferring the signal over a longer distance, and what is actually happening over here, the minecart gets unloaded. This is just a hopper chain running into it, and there is the chests are straight below here, the stack of chests, and there's just hoppers facing into that as we go down. And all of these are locked, except for the ones that were activated by the item loop. So they get pulled into there. Now, if none of them were activated, they all get reset, and the items move all the way to the end, and that is where the overflow chest is. And then this hot mess down below, this mostly deals with configuring the minecart. So let's look at it. This is basically the default position. So we have the first slot open, and then 4 filler slots. So only one item type at a time can be configured in the system. And then it gets sent off, and this system basically makes sure that if there's an unstackable item in the first slot, then that it gets taken out, and if there is a full stack in the first slot, that one item gets taken out. And that one item gets moved up top and put back in the minecart again, but the one item basically needs to be taken out so the minecart can actually interact with the configuration chests and determine where the items need to go. So I thought that was really ingenious. Now this basically resets the configuration of the transport minecart here. So it makes sure that as it gets back here, the first slot is empty and the other one is filled with fillers. So there's a lot of ingenious stuff here, and I'm in awe. Now these all smart things are all things that my Zuma made, by the way, so just copied them. Here we have sort of the messiness of me trying to determine when it's a good time to send away this minecart, and basically what I ended up doing is something along the lines of as long as there's items in this chest, then have a clock running here that goes back and forth that just sends the minecart away periodically. So that is highly inefficient, but I tried a lot of things. I didn't understand exactly what my Zuma implemented or why it would work, so I didn't know how to transform it to fit into this place. And also, I messed around with it and I couldn't get it to work any other way. So it's working now. I'm really proud of it and really happy with it, but there's a lot to improve still. I'm definitely going to give this a rest for a bit, work on the detailing of this building, but I might revisit this for, some optimizations. Well, it's changed the view from the farm building for sure. And I'm contemplating whether it's an improvement or not. It's different. They both had their charms, but I like that things are coming together. I've spent some time on the building, just adding some more details, and especially, let me see if I can get up here for a little bit of a better view. Adding some textures to the roof and the walls, just to break up sort of the evenness. I think especially for the roof, I like the effect. So there's just different variations of the black stone. And for the walls, there's some sand in there, some sandstone, just to mix it up. I've been going around adding lanterns to it, windows, some doors over there. I see I have to fix that dirt at some point. And I've also been adding little platforms, walkways in between them. I should head over to the bed, but that just so it fits a little bit better in the landscape. It's not floating off there. Quite nice. Some things maybe look a little bit barren still. I'll play around with this some more. There's another walkway and platform here with another redstone access door. Just going around it, what would make sense room and door wise, etc. But since they're not actual rooms inside, it's kind of difficult to judge. I don't know. I suppose the last few things that we have to do is update the map so that the buildings show up on there. That was a line in between there, confused me for a second. And update the project board as well. There it is, general store for storage. Yeah, so that's all we have time for this episode. I want to thank you once again so much for watching. If you have any tips or feedback, do feel free to leave a comment. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel for similar content in the future. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I hope to see you next time.